What about you, and welcome to Premier Lawns video. Today we're going to look at the best way to grow grass from seed. Now the bit of grass that I'm standing on, we killed this off 1 month ago and we reseeded it out. I'm going to show you 5 different methods to grow grass from seed and we're going to see what works best. Stick around. I get a lot of questions about what's best to cover new grass seed with, or should you cover new grass seed? So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to look at different methods to cover grass seed to see what works best. Now first up, it's important to show you exactly how we got here. So let's do that now. So first up, we'll have the scarification. This is just a process where we use this to remove the old grass. We then run the aerator over the soil and this helps let the air down into the soil. Now this is an important step. All right guys, now I've done a couple of passes over it, so we're going to get the blower out and clear some of it off and then we'll go again. Let's do that now. So just to have a quick look at the soil here folks, now I did think that the soil was going to be pretty poor, but that's actually quite good soil, lovely and crumbly. This bit of soil isn't that level. I'm not too concerned about if we can get it level or not, because it doesn't really matter for this exercise. We're just seeing what grows and what doesn't grow. For this project, we have different coverings that we're going to put onto our lawn. We have just general purpose compost that is peat free. I don't believe that you should put peat onto your lawn, as once it gets wet, it's hard to get dry, and once it gets dry, it's hard to get wet. It's going to encourage moss and everything else. So I would always say, if you're going to be using compost, don't use anything with peat in it. We have some plastering sand. I get a lot of questions about sharp sand, so I thought we'll do a channel with sharp sand. We have some topsoil that's meant to be weed free. It's a nice fine topsoil that we use out in the main lawn. And lastly, we have the grass seed. I'm going to put down a light dusting of seed before I put down any top dressing. We'll have the seed down now. We're going to cover some of it. Some of this seed is going to go to waste, of course, because we're going to be covering it with more material. But we just want to get all the seed down and make sure that there's a good covering. And now we're going to cover it with some of our materials and see how that goes. So we'll do that now. So our first one is the sharp sand, the builder's sand, or the sharp sand, the plastering sand. Plastering sand, it's sharp sand, so that means it's angular and it's designed to bind together. So whenever you use sand, you're not adding anything to your lawn. I'd expect seed to grow really well in the compost. There is some downsides to it, or what I would say a big downside to growing seed in compost is the fact when it breaks down, it's going to sink and it's going to knock off your levels. So if you're looking for a level lawn, the biggest downside to using compost is as it breaks down, those levels are going to go way off. I would expect the compost, the seed to do better in the compost than in this, so it'll be interesting to see which is best. Now, as I say, there is high clay content in this soil, so it might not suit everybody's needs, so just bearing that in mind whenever you're using it. So now we'll have our sand, we'll have our compost, our peat-free compost, we have just weed-free soil, and then we have nothing at all here. I'm going to give all this a stand. I'm going to stand all this in, try and get it firm down, try and get it half decent. We'll stand it all down, we'll give it a light rake, and then we'll put down more seed. So I'm going to do that now. So now you can clearly see the different areas. We'll have our plastering sand, the sharp sand, we'll have our compost, we'll have our topsoil here, and then we'll have nothing. So I'm going to seed this out now. Guys, if you could hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this. I post regular lawn care tips and tricks on bringing your lawn to the next level. So let's get on with it. So usually we take the drag mat and we drag the sand in. I'm not going to do that today because I don't want to mix the compost in with the sand. So I'm just going to stand this in and then give it a light rake off, and hopefully that'll be us ready for the fertilizer. So we'll have some fleece that we're going to cover this with. So this is quite a heavy fleece because we're getting a bit later on in the year. So the plan is we're going to cover half, or we're going to put one strip of this the whole way down, and then we're going to see how well this affects the seed germinating. This is now day 7. We did this last week, this time last week. So let's have a look and see. Sand. Nothing coming out of the sand. Compost. Some grass starting to show, very, very little grass starting to show out of compost. Nothing out of the sand. Topsoil. Starting to get some grass out of the topsoil. This bit here's got nothing.
Sunday. Sunny Sunday. Looks good in there. There's the sand, there's the compost, topsoil, nothing on it. Another exhilarating, beautiful autumn day. And here's the magic patch.
The bit that's doing the worst is the soil that wasn't covered at all. And as we pan across, this side wasn't covered, this side was. This one's definitely further ahead. So now the lawn is nearly, more or less grown in, and I'm going to say that now there's no real difference between the bit that we covered and the bit that we didn't cover. You can't really tell any difference. Our cone is one mark and the cone down at the bottom is the other mark, so from here over, from here to here, that bit was covered and then this bit wasn't covered. We have our sand here, this line here, this is our sand. This line here, this is our compost. And this was our premium topsoil. Whenever we come down to the soil, it's a slightly different story. There's definitely more grass in the area that was covered with the fleece and uncovered. We found that there was a lot of birds pecking at the uncovered bit. So the top dressing protected the seeds a lot from the birds. The wheat grasses are starting already. There we go, like a proud father, the lawn is now cut. That's the first cut on it. Lovely and green the whole way across, perfect. That was your lawn, that'll be an amazing lawn. So you can see down here that the only poor bit is this uncovered area. The rest is mint. Look at that, perfect. If that was your lawn, you'd be really happy with that. Okay, final thoughts. The area that we covered with the compost and the topsoil clearly did the best. The topsoil got off a good start, the best start between the compost and the topsoil. After 2 or 3 weeks, you couldn't tell the difference. If I was going to use topsoil or compost, I would encourage you to use topsoil because it's not going to sink as much as compost. Now, the sanded bit, it took a lot longer to get going. You've clearly seen it in the video. That area is still quite weak. Now, something else I'd like to talk about is the covering. The grass that was under the covering got off to a really good start, but after 3 weeks, the rest of the grass caught up with it. The area that we didn't cover, it didn't do that well at all, and you can clearly see from the birds pecking and everything else. It's been a very interesting experiment. If you have any questions, make sure to leave me a comment down below. Thank you for watching.